Okay, so honestly, I'm here because the freaking floor guy screwed us and I have to find someone to basically redo the whole floors, which has kind of been a pain because the price that we want to get it done at is just not realistic. And so trying to find someone to come here in such a short amount of time is kind of killing our timeline, but we're gonna do our best. So I'm back in our Minnesota house because the real estate agents wanted us to fix some things before they wanted to put it on the market. One big issue is the floors. So the original guy we had come in here honestly just kind of scammed us. He was supposed to refinish them, polish them, stain them. He didn't even do this transition here. Our contractor stained that. And when you feel the floors, they're like almost like gritty. Like there's like streaks in here of like chipped wood. Ultimately, that's just because he didn't sand it right. So in the back over here, there are like these really big streaks of stain that he just didn't do right. So in this room right here, there's literally a streak that goes from there all the way down here. And that was not there when we first bought the house. So the real estate agents are giving us a little bit of what's the word? They're giving us a little bit of a lashback on that because I guess the previous feedback from the buyers were they didn't like the floors. And so I guess we're working on that. They also wanted us to redo this floor in here. I absolutely hate it. So does Cameron. I think it's ugly. We originally had some like vinyl planks in there, but they said it was hideous. And they said it looked like dog. Just bleep that out. They also wanted us to add something into this mudroom. We both kind of thought it was ridiculous because once someone comes and buys the house, they're gonna personalize it. That's just what anyone does. But to make them happy, we added this little vanity here for extra storage. I think it's cute, but we'll see what they say. Over here, we had some complications because these little like vinyl planks here come up on the floor. There's honestly nothing we can do about that because in order to just fix this, we'd have to fix this whole entire back area or else there'd be like 4 different floorings throughout the house and that's just not feasible. And also we're already past our budget for this and so it's kind of stressing us out. In here, they wanted us to basically repaint everything, repatch a bunch of these holes that we had fixed. It just wasn't done to their liking, I guess. But yeah, the situation is like if we replace that floor over there, it would be 1 different flooring here, 1 different flooring here, 1 different flooring in the bathroom, and 1 different flooring throughout the house. So it was too much. So we just decided to keep it. They're gonna stage on top of it and hopefully people just won't really notice it as much. So I have 2 quotes so far for the floors. I have PTSD, I'm not gonna lie, from the first guy. I'm like nervous someone's gonna come in here and we're gonna repay them and it's just not gonna turn out right. So I'm being a little extra cautious, but there's holding costs in this property and we need this listed. Like every single day, we're basically just spending money, just holding it for no reason. We had to put new appliances in because we were gonna originally keep the appliances the seller had, but the real estate agents told us it looked ugly, so we got new ones. So yeah, our budget kind of got screwed, but that's okay. I basically get a budget for landscaping and he kind of just tells me to do whatever I think will look good. So that's what I try to do. I picked out these like, I don't know, I think these things are called like crotons, something like that. I thought they looked good, so I just picked them out. And then the real estate agents wanted us to pick kind of like a center statement kind of plant, just to kind of hide these cords over here. So I picked these big palm trees, kind of palm trees. I don't know, I like them. I thought this was a pretty creative way to make it pop and give some curb appeal. So that's what we did. The agents wanted the house painted blue again. We painted it white originally, but they were like, people liked it, it gave us color. And I'm like, okay. So we had to repaint it blue. They also gave us some feedback about like putting some like plants on this wall here and adding a doghouse in the back. And I'm like, that doesn't really bring value to a house. So I was like, we're just not gonna do that. We're already over our budget and we're just gonna do what we can with what they gave us. And that's basically what we did. All right, so our game plan to get this on the market as soon as possible is I'm trying to basically get someone out here to finish the floors. That's the last thing we need. And I'm like a chicken with my head cut off because I'm trying to make this happen as soon as possible. But the situation is once you redo the floors, you can't go and touch them for 3 days. So that already pushes us back behind. So that's what we're dealing with. Our lovely neighbors keeping up with our plants, watering them for us, and that's basically it. So we'll come back once it's listed and hopefully we can get the price we want.
Chef. Boom. Boom, 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 we're going. All right guys, so I'm going to talk today about like the most important part of the business. This is actually the type of business we run. So I know we're in wholesaling and flipping and rentals and all that stuff, but what is it? It's a marketing business. Through and through, like that's all it is. It is sales and marketing, because the biggest thing in this business is finding a deal. Everything else takes care of itself. So that is what I've been focusing on for literally like the past 3 to 4 years of me running this business, has just been how can I get better at sales and marketing? And like that's been my biggest focus. I feel like we're getting better. We're always trying to improve, but we've gotten a lot better. And so I want to talk about like what we're doing now and like the frameworks I use to make better decisions and kind of like how to make the business actually work. So first thing about this business, any business, and this is like a Hormozy-ism, which it's also in private equity. So there's something that we focus on called CAC to LTV. This is a Hormozy-esque or a private equity thing. Essentially, it's like customer acquisition costs and lifetime value of the client. So in our business, in flipping and wholesaling, you pretty much only get paid once. There's no subscription, there's no like recurring. It's a one-time transaction, so that's easy. It's how much profit you made on the deal. On customer acquisition cost, it is how much it cost us in marketing dollars or people cost or whatever the case may be to get that customer. It's pretty easy in our business because it's pretty much just like two things, you know, cost of getting the customer with people and the marketing, and that's it. So that's what I want to talk about on how much we pay here and how much we make. What I try to run our business on, as we're, I would say like smaller to mid-tier in regards to like comparable business, is a $5,000 cost per contract that's blended. And so that means between the actual marketing services and the actual cost to get deals, also this is including referrals. So it's pretty generous, but I think that 5K is fair. We want to then end up making $30,000. That's also blended between wholesales and we do flip. And so for me, in my head, I always think to myself, our business is looking good if I pay $1 and I get 6 back. Now, it's been told that, you know, I think the bare minimum you should be running on is like a 3X. Of course, if you're a business that, you know, spends a lot more money, right? Then of course you can have less margin or less of a CAC to LTV, because if you spend $1 million a month and you make 3 million, you're netting 2, versus somebody like me who's only spending 30 a month and I make less than that, right? So it's about like gross profit. But I want to talk about the way I'm running my business now. This is what we're aiming for. So 1 to 6, if I spend $1, I want to get 6 back. Now, here are the things that I'm currently doing to get this return. So first thing that we run our business based off of is direct mail. That is something that we're spending around $15,000 on a month. So we're pretty specific on the type of direct mail we're sending. We use a third-party vendor that we pretty much just send locally to about 5 counties that we want to buy in. I just operate in Central Florida, so I'm going to be talking about like a local business. For the guys that run a virtual model, God bless you, that's not me. I run a local business where we fix and flip and wholesale, and so there's only in Central Florida about an hour and a half outside of Orlando is where I operate. We spend around $15,000 a month in direct mail. This is our bread and butter. So if I'm using this number, that's going to average out to around 3 deals a month. And that's pretty true. You know, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but I would say that's approximately around there. Next, we have something called PPC or pay-per-click. We spend anywhere, you know, around $10,000 a month from there. That's going to be like 1 to 2 deals a month. The biggest thing, and this is something we'll talk about more, I think that as you kind of scale up with marketing, you need to have more of like an omnipresent approach, which means that if someone sees you on a piece of direct mail, when they go to Google your company, you need to pop up, because if not, you're just wasting money. And so hitting them from all angles, from internet, online, and direct mail, all encompassing, is how you build a brand, which is actually what I'm going for. Like, I really want to focus on building a brand, because this is how you make better returns with your marketing dollars. You get more back, and it's more of a consistent revenue channel by being like, hey, I know Arena Homebuyers, I know they're legit, I know others use them, I've seen them a lot. The likelihood that you'll get a deal increases drastically. So that's what we use PPC for, which is also a good deal source. Next, we have PPL, things like, you know, property leads, fast home offer, stuff like that. PPL is different than PPC because you can just pay, and they run a third-party marketing of like PPC and Facebook and stuff, and you can just pay for the specific lead itself. and there's no branding on it. You can just pay for one lead, turn off the marketing the next day. It's pretty solid. We spend around 3 to 5K a month here. And from that, we get a 1 to 2-ish, honestly, like around the same as PPC. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much better than PPC. Well, the problem is like the amount we make on a PPC deal is better than a PPL lead. And once again, I'm going for a branding play. This is just supplemental if we're low on leads. And then last but not least, my favorite channel is a referral. This is free, and this could be anywhere from 2 to 4, whatever the case may be, to where it averages around 8-ish a month. By far and away, the best channel you can possibly have are referrals. This is realtors, other wholesalers, things like that. If you're fixing and flipping, I highly recommend that you really focus on being a dominant brand in your market to get referrals from agents, because it doesn't cost you anything and it is a win-win. It is straight to the bottom line. So we're actually going to be focusing on really upping the ante here and hiring people specifically for building referrals and getting referral channels from agents. And so that's something I'm super happy about, because God bless everyone that works with us, but each year we're lucky enough to where we get a good amount of deals from agents. And I think that as we're trying to grow to be Orlando's biggest and best home buyer, I think that this is something we really need to focus on, because it is low cost, but it is something that can continuously, compound, because if you get one agent that trusts you, that'll compound over and over as the years, go on. So this is our setup. What does this look like? Let's come over here. It looks like marketing. We spend anywhere from 25 to 35K a month. Closed deals, you're gonna be looking at anywhere from, it's gonna be anywhere from 5 to 7 closed. So that's what brings me to if we spend 30,000, we should be making approximately 180. We're working up to there because we just actually started spending this amount, so it does take a little bit of a lag time. But this is just to kind of show you, my biggest focus is running a lean company. I care about actually making money. Some other people in this industry will tell you, hey man, I make $500,000 a month, but they're spending $450. No joke, I've seen it a lot of times. Or they're spending $400,000 and they're making like 3, because ebbs and flows, deals fall out. I want to grow a business that's profitable, that's brand focused, that we're actually aren't going to die if we have a bad month. But this is the goal here, to essentially get to the point where if we spend $100,000 a month, we can make $500,000 and continuously grow that way. So that's my goal. And we've been doing, relatively consistent with this for the past couple months here. And this is just the focus of somebody that's actually running a local business that is wholesaling and fix and flip centered. One more thing to talk about here, this $30,000, that does consist of both wholesale and flip deals. Obviously the flips are more, so this may end up being 35-ish to 40, and this could be 20 to 25-ish, but it should average out to around $30,000. That's our goal for our average deal. And this is the math that I try to focus on hitting in our business currently. Obviously, plus or minuses, right? But this is what I think is the golden standard. And if I were starting in marketing or trying to start this business, I would 0 to 1 try to get to a setup something like this that's pretty consistent, because I'm not focused on just one channel being my end all be all. And then secondly, it's feasible in regards to, I know $25,000 to $35,000 a month sounds like a lot, but when you think about what runs our business, that's pretty much it. We run a business to where a majority of our spend, at least a fourth, or not really, but a sixth, is going to be marketing, right? So that's something that we're focusing on. And this is pretty lean. This is a optimistic approach. Most people will tell you, hey, I try to be at a 1 to 3 or a 1 to 4, but I personally say that you need to optimize for a 1 to 6 so that you can have enough margin to be able to actively grow and pay people well, be able to withstand some bad times, but it forces you to think differently about how you spend money, and you don't just blow money. So this is the biggest thing that I kind of like to see the breakdown in other people's businesses, so I want to talk about it for us. This is where we're at in the mid 2026. It's going to keep going up. By the end of the year, we'll probably be spending at least 50 to 60 a month, and hopes to be making 200 to 250 a month. So that's where we're at, and hopefully this was helpful. Boom.
I just feel it's a good base. I like to mix one of these little pop of color with something green. So these are what are these? I don't even know what they're called. I don't know. They say shrub. So these little shrubs, I love these. These are so cute. But I think for cinnamon, I'm gonna do, let me think, because cinnamon is like very basic. So I kind of want to do like a little pop of color. And then I'm definitely gonna do these because I love these. So these are a base. What I like though is that there's bulk pricing. I mean, ideally we should be getting stuff from like a nursery, but it's just kind of always all over the place. Like our houses are all over. So it's hard to like grab stuff from a nursery and bring it all the, ooh, I like these. Our houses are just so spread out. So it's like Home Depot and Lowe's, they're everywhere. I know it's horrible to say, but like, it's just, we do what we can. I don't know, they don't really have much here. They're kind of ugly. When you think about it, $500 is not a lot for landscaping at all, but it's a decent amount, so we can do a good amount of stuff with it. Okay, so I have to find like pool lights for the pool area. These are the ones we did for the garage, so like it's gonna look really cool because the light comes out from the top and bottom. And I think I want to do the same thing in the back, just like a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna buy them. I think I need to. So how this works is I go to the pro desk and I tell him to put it under Cameron's account, and he gets a text message and he approves the sale. So I don't even have to use my card, which Cameron, if you're watching this, please fix my company credit card. You said you were gonna do that like 2 months ago. Okay, so I have to pick out tiles for our base flip. Right now we're doing these like matte tiles, but they're really hard to clean and they get stained sometimes with the paint. So that's a no-no. Oh, these are the exact ones that we use on our property right now, but you see how they're like matte? And it's just tough to clean, man. Then they look so like, I don't know, it's just not a good look. Normally Home Depot has a lot of tile options, but they only have one row. Oh, here we go. Wait, never mind. I'm so confused. Oh, here we go. Okay. Honestly, I really like Floor & Decor more for our tiles. They have a huge variety, but Cameron's also super picky. Like, if you think you're picky, just think even pickier. That's what he is. Okay, they don't have anything here, so we're gonna leave with this, and that's basically it.